Before I cut on fabric, I will like to work on the front pattern. Okay, so, and I need to put this aside. This line is my bust line and this line is my chest line. Here is my bust span divided by 2, and you remember that I came down by 1.25 inches from the bust line. This dart is 1.5 inches on the waistline, and here I have my shoulder dart. Now this shoulder dart can be decided, it can be reduced. You don't want it to be as wide as this is possible. Now the width of my dart is about 3 inches, so if you don't want it that way, you can do 2 inches. Okay, 2 inches, 2.5, 2.25 and all of that. Okay, so right now from this line I'm going to come down by my bust radius, which is the distance between my bust point and my under bust, so that I can have my under bust spotted out on the pattern. Okay, so mine is 4 inches. You can measure yours right from your nipple point to the under bust, and I'm connecting this line, this point together to have my on the bust line. Okay, this is my bust line, this is my chest line. Okay, and here is my waistline. Now on this bust under bust line, I'm going to, from the dart leg, the outer dart leg, I'm going to come out by 0.25. Now you can come out by 1/8 of an inch, you can come out by 1/4 of an inch, you can even come out by 1/2 of an inch. So it depends on what you want. I'm trying to contour the bust, contour the bust a little. I'm not drafting a bustier pattern, but you need to contour a little so that the bust area, especially under the bust, can have a lovely fitting around there, so it reduces the bulge, okay, that could arise from under the bust. So this is the essence of it. It contours it, not that you are making a bustier design. So this is very important, it's very important you do this. All right, so now that I've achieved this, I'm going to continue. All right, so with this, of course, you have a good fitting around the bust area, both from the nipple point to the under bust. All right, so this is the essence of redrawing the dart. Your dart, the front dart has to look this way. So any front pattern that the waist dart looks exactly this, of course you should have an idea of how the outcome is going to look, the finished bodice is going to look. All right, so and all right, so I need to, since I came down by 1.25 from the bust line down to the peak of the dart, to the beginning of the waist dart, I need to also do the same on the shoulder dart. Okay, my dart, the two darts must not start right from the bust point. Okay, so I need to also move the shoulder dart away, just the way I did for the waistline dart. Okay, so I need to take it up so that it will be a little above the bust point. All right, so now since I measured 1.25 from the bust line down, I'm going to do the same thing. So you can do that from the bust point line upward, you measure 1.25. okay, and you get the midpoint in between these two dart legs, the two shoulder dart legs. I hope you understand. Then from the midpoint, you are going to redraw the dart and connect to this point. I hope I'm making sense. Well, please don't get confused. This basic bodice is actually very simple. So it depends on, you just have to work, you just have to do your practicals, you don't have to stop working. Don't get tired. Don't see it as a difficult task. All right, so that's all I needed to do on my pattern, and the next is to cut on fabric. This fabric is lining, is aba lining, is our so-called aba lining. So you can get an inexpensive fabric, just calico or something cheap, so that you can try that, or you try yours on it. So here I'm going to be adding cutter on the neckline, and others, both the shoulder, the armhole, the side and the waistline, I'm going to be adding half an inch. But because this is lining and I don't really need it, it's just for practical purpose, I'm just adding half an inch on the side and nothing more. There's no need of seam allowance on the on the armhole, because I'm not adding sleeve to it. Okay, so I just added half an inch on the shoulder and on the side, and quarter of an inch on the neckline as well. Okay, so now I'm transferring all the darts onto the fabric from pattern to fabric. This is important. All the darts that you drafted, or the darts that you inserted on your pattern, you need to transfer them onto your fabric. Okay, so that you can, of course, stitch it. So this is what I do most times. I try to transfer all my pattern. You can see that I just did the normal rectangle on the fabric. I'm still going to redraw the dart on the fabric, so I needed to just quickly transfer all the dart first before adjusting it. Okay, all right, now for the back pattern, I noticed that this is too curvy. I talked about it in the last class, that I need to show you how best to draw the armhole. That will be later. Okay, so here I just felt that this is not that normal, so I decided to measure. Now if you measure your armhole on the back and you compare it with the one you have on the front pattern, and you notice that the difference there is about 1 inch, meaning that the back armhole is longer or more than the front by 1 inch. This is too much, so you need to actually work on the back, okay, on the back armhole, so that at least it can be like quarter of an inch higher. It is not compulsory that it has to be longer or more or higher than the front armhole measurement. It's not compulsory. If it happens that your own, the two are the same, it's fine. Now what I don't buy is that my back armhole must not be shorter. It mustn't be shorter. So you can see what I'm trying to do here. I notice that it's too long, as in longer or higher than the front armhole measurement, so I decided to just redraw my armhole. You know, I added paper and I'm redrawing it so that at least it can look good on me. Your armhole measurement, the back can be more by a quarter or at most half an inch, at most, okay, but the idea is it must not be shorter. The back armhole must not be lesser. Please, that is important. So now that I, try to make some adjustments on the back armhole, so I'm trying to confirm just to be sure it's fine before I continue. So for me, I think it wasn't that good, and I am trying to do one or two justice to it. All right, I think it's fine now, and I need to cut out. Okay, so this is what I have. All right, and let me continue with my back. So I have cut it now, and of course I transferred the shoulder dart, the waist dart onto the fabric, as you can see. So now I think I need to cut or remove the seam allowance that I added on the neckline. I felt this isn't necessary, so I decided to trim it out. Okay, you can see that I have adjusted my darts on the fabric. You can see that. Okay, so, and it's really conforming with the one the one on the pattern. Okay, so here I have already sewn my darts. I have sewn my darts, sewn the waist. That this is the back. I've sewn the waist and the shoulder. You can see the tiny dart on the shoulder. Okay, and I have also added my zipper, and the same thing I did on the front. I stitched the dart on the waistline, the dart on the shoulder, and yeah, fine, beautiful. Now the next thing here is to join the two shoulders together. Make sure that when you are joining the two shoulders together, the darts on the two shoulders align. Okay, you have to match the two darts so that they can be aligned. All right, and you do this, and for the side I joined the two sides together. Okay, so I'm going to be showing you once I finish joining how it looks on me, so that you can have an idea. You can see this is actually a light fabric. This is lining, like I said, it's about lining. So I guess it's beautiful, it's nice. So thank you so much for watching. If you have any question, please drop in the comment section, and I'll see you in my next video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel it means a lot to me. So you can see the contoured bust, you can see that area, that under bust area. Very lovely, right? Thank you. Bye.